4 is equal to 96. Now Josh thought differently, so I'm going to change the color so you can see that. Josh sees 16 cubes on the N layer. But he would have to multiply by 6 going across. So Josh saw 16 cubes. And I think I know why. So he was counting it on this one right here. Right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. But yes, he is correct that there are 16 cubes, but we're trying to figure out the volume of the prism, right? And to find volume, you're going to need to multiply the width times height times length. So Jonah is correct, whereas Josh is incorrect. Because if you were to keep multiplying, you would not get 96. You would get a smaller number, okay? So I'm going to move on to problem number 3. And at any time you need to pause the video so you can write down something, make sure you are. Or if you have a question, make sure you're asking me and sending me emails so that I can clarify your question. Problem 3. Marcos makes a prism 1 inch by 5 inches by 5 inches. He then decides to create layers equal to his first one. Fill in the chart below and explain how you know the volume of each new prism. Okay, so I need to explain, and whenever I see the word explain, it is asking me to write a sentence. So I need to make sure I am writing a sentence and being very clear. Okay, so this right here tells me the layers, and then I need to figure out what the volume is. Okay, so I have 1 by 5 by 5. So I'm going to multiply that. 1 times 5 times 5. 1 times 5 is equal to 5. 5 times 5 is equal to 25. Okay? And now it says the number of layers, there are 2 layers. So that means I'm going to multiply that by 2. And I'm going to get my final answer of 50. So there is 50 inches cubed. Now I need to explain. Each layer is 25 inches. Two layers is 50 inches. Let me write inches. For problem 4, I'm doing the same thing. I am multiplying 1 times 5 times 5. 1 times 5 is equal to 5. 5 times 5 is equal to 25. And for this one, they're asking me to multiply times 4 because there are 4 layers. So I'm going to multiply times 4. Now, whenever I see the number 25 and I'm multiplying, I think of quarters. If I have 4 quarters, I would have $1. In this case, we're not using quarters, we're using full numbers or whole numbers. So that would be 100. Okay, so 25 times 4 is equal to 100. So it's 100 inches cubed. Whenever you're multiplying in volume, your answer is going to be to the cube or to the power of 3. But usually you say that as inch cube. So 100. So each layer is 25 inches. 4 layers is 100 inches. Now the next one we have, same thing, I'm going to use 1 times 5 times 5. 1 times 5 is 5, times 5 again is equal to 25. 25 times 7, okay, so I'm thinking of how many quarters I would have, and so my answer would be 175. So I have 175 inches cube. So each layer is 25 inches. 7 layers is 175 inches. Number 4. Imagine the rectangular prism. Where did my highlighter go? Imagine the rectangular prism below is 6 meters long, 4 meters tall, and 2 meters wide. Draw horizontal lines to show how the prism could be decomposed into layers that are 1 meter in height. Okay, so that's a lot of things they're asking you to do at first. Okay, so below it says 6 meters long. So this right here is going to be 6 meters long, and then 4 meters tall. This right here is going to be 4 meters tall in height. So this right here is the length. This right here is the height. And the last one tells me how wide something is, so that is the width. So the width right here is 2 meters wide. Draw horizontal. You might be asking, what does horizontal mean? Horizontal are lines that go like this. Vertical, on the other hand, are lines that go up and down. So horizontal, side to side, vertical, up and down. Okay, so I need to draw horizontal lines to show how the prism could be decomposed. The word decompose means to break down. So how can I break down into layers that are 1 meter in height? In order to do that, I'm looking at this number 4. It's telling me how many layers I need to draw horizontally. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw 4 lines horizontally. Oh, that's not very straight. Oh well. Okay. So now I have 4 lines. And they're asking me it has how many layers from bottom to top. There are 4 layers from bottom to top. Each horizontal layer contains how many cubic meters. So they're asking me how many cubic meters are these. If I were to draw all my little cubes, so if I draw, this one has 2, and then I continue on, this one would have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? If I were to multiply it, 6 times 2, I would get 12 cubic meters. The volume of this prism is what? And I told you, to find volume, you are multiplying 6 times 2 times 4. 6 times 2 is 12, and 12 times 4 is equal to 48 meters cubed. Now, I'm going to turn the page. This is page 21, and it is your homework. So it should be more of a review, and it's usually easier than the problem set. But I'm going to go over it because I know it could be a little hard. Use the prism to find the volume. The rectangular prisms pictured below were reconstructed with 1 centimeter cubes. Decompose each prism into layers in 3 different ways, and show your thinking on the blank prisms. Complete each table. So this table needs to be filled in. I'm looking at this right here, and I'm going to decide to cut it like this. So I have 12 because I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I should count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 cubes, and on the bottom it's going to be identical because what's on the bottom is going to also be on the top, and what is on the top is also going to be on the bottom because they are equivalent. So there are 2 layers and there are 12 cubes in each layer, which makes 24 cubic centimeters because when I multiply 2 times 12, I get 24. The next one, I'm going to decide to cut it like slices or if you're cutting like bread. And I'm going to cut it this way. So I'm going to cut 4 slices. Okay. And in each slice, you're going to have 6 cubes. So look here. I have 1, 2, right? So 2, 4, 6. I'm going to have 4 number of layers and 6 cubes in each layer. So that gives me 24 cubic centimeters. Now, my last cube, I'm going to decide to slice it this way. Very hard to draw because the lines have to be very close together. And they're wondering in each layer how many is there. I can count with you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I slice it that way, there are 8 in each layer. So there are 3 number of layers and 8 cubes in each layer. 3 times 8 is equal to 24. Now, I'm going to move on to the next one. Same thing as problem A. I'm doing the same thing. I'm looking at this right here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to decide to slice it this way. You see that? So I'm going to slice it that way. And each one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 cubes in each layer. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need to cut this into 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5. So in each layer, I'm going to have 6 cubes. So I'm writing number 6. So I'm going to write 5 number of layers and 6 cubes. 5 times 6 is equal to 30 cubic centimeters. On the next one, I'm going to decide to cut it into 3. Okay, so what I mean by that, I'm cutting it like that. And I'm going to count how many cubes are in each layer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But remember, there's a back, so that's 10. So 10, 10, 10. There are 3 layers. You see that? And there are 10 cubes in each layer. Now the last one. I'm going to cut it this way. And if I were to cut it in that direction, it would look something along the lines like this. Okay? So I'm going to count how many there is on one side, and then I can multiply that by 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this one has 15, and the back is also going to have 15. So there are 2 layers, 1, 2, and there are 15 cubes, so 2 times 15 is equal to 30. I almost forgot, I'm so sorry. That one is also equal to 30. Okay, now I'm going to turn the page. And I have page 22 in your math book. The question asks, Stefan and Chelsea want to increase the volume of this prism. So I have 2 people. I have Chelsea and I have Stefan. Want to increase the volume of this prism by 72 cubic centimeters. Chelsea wants to add 8 layers, and Stefan says that they only need to add 4 layers. Their teacher tells them they are both correct. Explain how this is possible. So that means I kind of have to draw out what Chelsea is saying and what Stefan is saying. So Chelsea, I'm going to use Chelsea is going to be blue. Okay, and Stefan, I'm going to use orange. Okay, right here it says that Chelsea wants to add 8 layers. So Chelsea wants to add 8 layers. I'm going to write 8 above her. And then Stefan says he only needs to add 4 layers. So I'm going to write 4 above her. And their teacher tells them they are both correct. So Chelsea, let's do Chelsea first. Chelsea this is going to be Chelsea's cube. Not very good at drawing.